Hello everyone, I'm Suraj. As it is the day one of training session, so I got a couple of questions in the form of assignment. So let's just dive into the questions. So the first question here is the find out IP address of taskforce.com. So here we need to know about the IP address, which is stating that IP, which stands for the Internet Protocol. So the IP address is the unique code which is given to all the devices on the internet world. Okay, so which makes it easy to identify any device with a particular name or the particular IP address. So at this beginning, the IP version 4 was introduced, which was like it was just targeting 4 billions of unique codes, which means that the if we consider the world's population, which is around 7.9 billion. So if each individual also owns at least one device, so it would not be sufficient to create 7.9 billion with this IP version 4. So they introduced IP version 6, which was targeting, I guess, 150 trillion unique codes, which is more than sufficient. So they have taken that IP version 6 into the force. So yeah, let's just move to the question. So it is find out the IP address of taskforce.com. So to find the IP address of any website, we should go to the command prompt. Then we should give a command as ping space taskforce.com. And yes, here is the unique code. Here is the IP address. Okay, so let's move on to the second question, which is find out any 3 companies who sells domains. Okay, so here a word comes as a domain. Here we can say a domain as a easy word or easy name which could be recognized or which could be understood or which any person can recall it easily instead of IP address. So the domain name will be associated with the IP address of any devices. Like if any person rents the domain, then it means this IP address or this unique code will be integrated or will be mapping to this particular domain name. So some companies which provides domain are Hostinger, then comes I guess domain.com, then I think it comes Dyna. So comparing these 3, I think Dyna has somewhat we can say guard, which we call it as who is guard, which means that the identity of the buyer is hidden, which would provide security to the buyer, like his email or anything would not be visible, so spamming will be reduced. So and few companies provides it for free, like Hostinger, and Hostinger won't provide it for free. I think it charges 400, I guess. But yeah, some companies provide this whois guard for free. So okay, let's just move to the third question, which is find out the 5 different types of domain extension and what they signifies. Okay, so the domain extension, the booming domain extension, I can say, is the .com, which means com means the commercial, which is used for commercial purpose. It is not a restricted extension, we can say, because it could be used by anyone. And it is mostly in the demand, or it is booming because we can say many of them trust this extension. Like for example, if we consider any person is saying that my mail or a particular thing that I'm only saying about my website, which is Suraj Naik or surajnaik.com or anything. So I say that my website is Suraj Naik. So if anyone is searching it on Google, so he'll be searching as surajnaik.com rather than suraj.in or suraj.us or anything. So because of this trust, this .com has been booming. And even there is a myth we can say, which is like .com. If we buy a domain which is .com, it will be like it will be ranking in the Google somewhat. But yeah, it is obviously a myth because if there is a traffic in any website, so it will obviously boom in this Google list. So yeah, let's move on to the first. Okay. So the first domain extension was the Google, the .com. Then coming to the next, which was I can speak about the restricted extensions, which is the GOV, which stands for government, which could be used for the government purpose or government entities can use it. Then next we can say EDU, which stands for education, which can be used by an education organization, we can say. And there are even few extensions which are country specific, like IN, which stands for India, which targets Indian audience, and US, which stands for US and which targets US audience. Yeah. So let's move on to the next question, which is what is subdomain? Explain with couple of examples. So yeah, so as the name suggests, subdomain. Okay, subdomain, which means that it is somewhat additional to the domain, which we can say as it is a subdivision of the domain. So like it is some additional section which is added to the domain. Or you can say if we add this subdomain, it could be very easy to navigate or organize our website. Say if we are creating, see, okay. So, okay, with the example only, I'll try to explain, which is, okay, the domain name is google.com, which is owned by Google. Yeah. So they have an subdomain, which is the support.google.com, which means if he types this URL, he'll be directed to the section in the google.com, which means he'll be driving into the support part of the support section, also we can say support session of the Google. So yes, here we can like it will be very easy to organize, or we can say our main domain or the main website, the subdivisions in this website, we can add it in the subdomain. So okay, so we can say like that the .com is top level, we can say top level domain. Then we can say like Google, if the or the domain name as the second level domain, and we can say the www or www dot or support.com or anything that is the subdomain of it. So yeah, thank you guys, thank you so much.